Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Musa Sheikh, and I'm going to discuss DFSA rule book. DFSA stands for Dubai Financial Services Authority. This is a series of programs, and we will have a couple of programs explaining a lot of regulations divided in modules. I will start my discussion from rule book module. We will discuss the source book, and we will see how the consultation papers are prepared. We'll see the DFSA policy statements. What is the code of practice? This we will discuss in detail. If you want to amend the legislations, what will be the procedures, responsibilities, requirements. Have a handbook of Islamic finance, because Islamic finance is one of the core financing leading issues nowadays. We'll see how to file an appeal in the committees and how the financial market works. The first thing that I'm going to discuss is the anti-money laundering, and part of the discussion is the counter-terrorism financing, which is one of the most burning issues. All regulators in the world is very concerned about money laundering, and especially the counter-terrorist financing. We have to see in details what are the important things we should keep in mind when we are going to have a deep knowledge of AML from the regulator point of view. Same time, we will try to discuss the issues related with the institution when they are having a regulation from anywhere in the world. We did a couple of research in AML in US, in UK and in UAE. And we are going to discuss that how the regulator is going to place the modules which explain the requirements and regulations for related to AML. The modules generally is divided into different sections. The first section is obviously the introduction. This code is applied on which, what is the entity who is entitled to apply this code, and what are the responsibilities on the entity in terms of any anti-money laundering. This section is going to name as the introduction of the discussions. After that, we are going to have an overview, and we will see what is the technical glossary in terms of money laundering. Once the discussion will start, of course, we are going to see the risk assessment procedures, and we will try to assess what are the risks associated in terms of money laundering, and what kind of systems and control an institution should brought in. In the later part of our discussion, we are going to discuss the customer risk assessment, that how when a customer approach to any institution, what should be the key criteria they should have to analyze the quality of the customer. As the discussion will go, we will see what is the customer due diligence. We should have what are the requirements in terms of due diligence. We'll see that is it beneficial, or it's mandatory, or it's optional to use third party, or we can outsource this function from an institution point of view. Very important discussion will take place about wire transfers, anonymous accounts, and the regular audits should be conducted, and we will see the regulations. The most important regulation that I am going to discuss is the United Nations regulations and sanctions, which according to the treaties all government has to follow it. Then we will see that there is an importance for money laundering reporting officer. So what are the requirements for an institute to have a money laundering officer, how to appoint, what qualities this guy should have, and what are his responsibilities to do. All institutions should have AML training division, and they should train their employees, create awareness about different issues, new terms, and there should be a mechanism to report the suspicious activities, and what are the technical definitions, how internal reporting structure should be developed, and how the suspicious activity should be reported is we are going to discuss today. And in last of our discussion, of course, we are going to discuss the general obligation as a group branch or as a subsidiary, and how to keep in terms of record keeping, in terms of communication with any regulators, and how important it is to give the employee disclosures, and what is the transitional rules. This is the part of today's discussion.